Tomorrow's Friday, right, Prater?
Yeah, sure.
I think it is. Well, that's sweet deal time, and you're going to get it this week from Emerald Lawn Tree and Pest. They're hooking you up with half price off a full year of pest control. That's tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. at KTIK.com. Our BNN report, Bronco Nation News. We are down here on behalf of Bronco Nation News. BJ Range joins us right now, and didn't think you'd show today after that performance by your Kansas Jayhawks last night.
Oh!
Yeah, I haven't won a bet yet since I've been down here. So me and Prater have won the same amount, and he's bet none, and I've bet 4 or 5. So next month's check might be a little lighter, Prater. But, yeah, no, it's love being down here, and, yeah, that was a rough one. I'm not used to, first of all, being the 6th seed and then losing. And
yeah.
But Prater's alma mater's still alive.
Yeah, Utah crushed Arizona State last night, plays Colorado tonight, so it was like a 30-point victory. I don't think Utah's beaten teams aggregate the entire season by that many, so hopefully it's more than just a one-game blip.
Who's out there? Whose team is still alive in this thing? Text us and let us know. Prater, of us three, your Utes are the only ones still alive. My Vandals and BJ's Jayhawks.
We're alive. We're going to the big dance.
I mean, alive in championship week to win a conference tournament. Anyway,
and Utah's probably not going to the tournament, so the NCAAs they have to go much deeper than winning a couple of games. Just right down the street here, by the way.
Absolutely, BJ. I don't know how you're been able to pull this whole deal off with Circa and Derek Stevens, but I don't know if we've ever had a better view for certainly any show of my career. This is spectacular.
Yeah, I literally sent Derek Stevens a DM on Twitter once. Saw that he followed me for some reason. Sent him a DM when I was coming to Vegas. They were about to open Circa. I said, hey, I'd love to come see your property, sir. He wrote me back right away. Couldn't have been nicer. I drove myself over here, almost like a blind date or something, meeting somebody. I was thinking back to like college or something, going over there, meeting this random billionaire casino owner. And I walked in, and I was a little nervous, but glad I did and met him. And I've gotten to know him the last couple of years. And it's been really cool, and glad that you guys have been able to jump in on this as well. And is Idaho going to be literally the last state, or will Utah be before them for legalized sports gambling at some point?
No, I think Utah would be ahead of Idaho.
So Idaho might be last?
I've always predicted, whether it's gambling or other vices that we like out there that are becoming – it's going to be a couple of Bible Belt states. Wyoming and Idaho are going to be the last bastions. Wyoming doesn't need the money, and they're not going to go there. There's always a couple of those crazy southern states that aren't going there, and Idaho will never have sports gambling. I can almost promise you that.
All I need is Idaho to get sports gambling. I probably would have a new title sponsor and be able to be set for life probably with Circa. But no, love this place and glad we're down here. And hope we're here for a couple more days covering games here.
Yeah, we got the pool party tomorrow. Luckily, it wasn't today. Today was the worst weather I've ever seen ever being in Vegas.
By the way, though, you haven't been outside in a couple hours. I took this from my room about 30 minutes ago. It's now sunny.
Okay.
It's sunny.
I did that yesterday when we went on the air.
That was 30 minutes ago. It's now sunny again.
I think Vegas and God likes us that way. So
let's go. All right, BJ. New Mexico tonight. Where are your feels with this one? Bob's going to give us his keys, but let's pick your brain a little bit. I'm
nervous for Boise State. I really am. I just have this weird feeling, and a lot of times when I get nervous or don't love it for Boise State, they end up playing well and win. So I'm probably overthinking it, but I just don't love this matchup. I watched New Mexico yesterday just steamroll Air Force. They're playing really good. They had House was doing the gritty after one of his shots. They just have that swagger back, it looks like, right now. And this 3 seed, man, Boise State's been in. They were on our flight. We've been here 48 hours. It'll be over 48 hours in Vegas by the time the game tips off tonight.
That is off.
That Boise State's been sitting around. 3 teams in this tournament will have played 2 games before Boise State plays 1. And it's just a weird deal. And for whatever reason, the 3 seed has not been kind to Boise State. And I think New Mexico is better than a typical 6 seed. And I just think that those guards, I get it. Boise State has the size advantage. They've dominated them on the glass as well. Boise State 30 off. I'm sure Bob's going to say this is the key. 30 offensive rebounds in 2 games against them. Boise State has. So they've dominated the offensive glass because they have bigger guards. But your nightmare scenario is you look up in the middle of the second half and New Mexico has 12 threes and you're down 8 and it's just not working for you. So we'll see. I think tonight's the toughest. I'll put a little prediction out there. Tonight's the toughest game for Boise State. If they win tonight, they will win the tournament.
Ooh, there you go.
If Boise State wins tonight, now again, there's only 2 games left, but
right now.
If they win tonight, they will win the tournament.
Utah State fan base is about to go
I just don't know if they're going to win tonight, but if they do, I think they'll get past that first round hump and they'll be fine.
You know this team as well as anybody, BJ, and Ballgame and I opened up this show talking about the sports psychology of this team. Is this basketball team, the DNA of this basketball team, the Leon Rice toughness and the DNA and all that other kind of stuff, is it better with the chip on his shoulder, or better with that loosey-goosey, vibe that we've got a lot of work done and we don't have to worry about the consequences of this tournament?
Probably somewhere in the middle. I mean, I think that this team certainly being over there yesterday and seeing the guys and stuff, I think this team is focused. I mean, they only lost 2 games in a row twice all season, and they lost those 2 games on the road. And ever since then, they've just really turned it on. So I think this team is mentally tough. I think they're strong. I think having, can't believe I'm saying this, a 7th-year senior in Cam Martin, a 6th-year senior in Max Rice, some of these veteran guys, Degenhart, Stanley, these are all 3-4-year college players. I mean, I think that they don't get phased on the road. They don't get phased in tough situations. And on paper and with the way they're playing, you would look and say this is the kind of team that could make a run in March. I mean, they have veteran players. They have guys that can get hot. They have 4 guys that can go for 20. I mean, I think that the relax, I don't know if loosey-goosey, if I'd call it that much, but I do think they kind of know, hey, as you guys said, you said in your column, they're in, man. They're not walking around in eggshells or pins and needles. Like, they know they're in. They can kind of just relax and see what happens. And I expect them to play well tonight. I just don't know if it's going to be well enough.
BJ Rains, our BNN report, live from Circa Las Vegas Sportsbook. Prater in the ballgame, Idaho Sports Talk. Do you have somewhat of maybe an X factor or a certain player? I mean, I mentioned yesterday, Roddy Anderson led the team in scoring last game. I think that's the only time he's done that this year. Is this maybe a newer Roddy Anderson we're seeing, or is there another player, BJ, that you think needs to be a focal point or at least have a pretty darn good game tonight for this thing to get done?
Well, Roddy Anderson only has 11 total points in the 2 games against New Mexico, so certainly he could play better. He did a great job defensively, though, on house. You mentioned Abo. He had 12 rebounds in the last matchup when they played. He had 16 points in the first meeting, and then he had 17 points in the last meeting. So he's averaging 16 and almost 9.5 rebounds in 2 matchups against them. But I think it's got to be, Max and Tyson. It's the easy whatever answer. But Max, for the most part, has played pretty well against New Mexico. I know 35 down there at the pit, 16 in the other game. He had 30 against them last year. So Max Rice needs to be at 20-plus point range probably and hit some of his threes. And I'm very curious. We've talked a lot about the bench, Mike Prater, this year and kind of how Leon has used it. Well, this is the time, and the timeouts are 30 seconds longer, and so you don't. This is where you shorten the bench. So I'm going to be very curious to watch. Does Leon stick with the 9 guys, or do we look up midway through the second half and Tyson and Max and Buzo have all sat for like 1 minute? I'm going to be curious if he keeps this thing rolling, or how much minutes do guys like Andrew Meadow or Keene or some of these guys, do they see the floor tonight? Because I think Boise State certainly needs their stars to play well. I know that's an easy cop-out answer, but I think Boise State's best players need to be the best players tonight.
Yeah, 36 minutes for the big 4 each. It would be kind of nice to see. I got no problem with shortening the bench. All right, let's go ahead and assume tonight that Boise State takes care of business. Make me smarter, BJ, in terms of Colorado State and Nevada. Colorado State, the luckiest damn athletic program in the world, sneaks by. Here comes Nevada playing really well after a physical thumping of BSU the other day. So How do we handicap tonight's game, the first game of this session, and what Boise State could face tomorrow night?
Well, the guy who went 6 for 6 from 3, Hunter McIntosh, is out for Nevada for this tournament with a knee injury. So they're one of their better players is depleted right now. One of their main guys coming off the bench. Nevada is the better team. Colorado State, really, once they got into conference play, has really, really struggled. And I think Colorado State is in, but they're not that safe either. I think they've got some work to do in terms of not wanting to be either in Dayton or be in a really rough scenario. So I think they need to win a game or 2. They have not played well against the better teams in the league. Boise State obviously split with both those teams. Boise State lost at CSU and then obviously lost just to Nevada at home. So they've beaten both those teams once, and they're both obviously quality teams. I would give the slight edge to Nevada, but the best overall player in that group is Isaiah Stevens for Colorado State.
Well, Derek Stevens is probably pretty good in that. I'm sure he was a hell of a player growing up. BJ, UNLV San Diego's game in the lineup at Thomas and Mack, I think tipping off 20, 30 minutes or so. Where do you see that game going? UNLV, San Diego State. Maybe you thought they would catch Fresno in the semis. Not going to happen. Utah State will play the winner of that. Who you got?
Well, just on that, same floor, 10 days ago, 8 days ago? San Diego State lost to UNLV. They just beat them. And San Diego State's coming in on a 2-game losing streak, obviously. I still think when it's all said and done, we're going to look up and there's going to be San Diego State probably in the championship game. They just, this time of year they do it. I'm still not sold on Utah State tomorrow. So if it's San Diego State, Utah State, UNLV is good. One of the Caleb Boone, one of the Boone brothers, Oklahoma State transfer, is questionable. And there was the reason for the line movement. Maybe it was that he's maybe not going to play today. We'll see. That's a big blow for UNLV. But UNLV, we say it every year, on their home floor, and this is going to be, they're going to make a run. They never have. They never do.
Never.
But I would say this year's team is more dangerous than a lot of the teams they've had. They're physical. They've got the as I said with Mike earlier, like when you get off the bus, you look at UNLV and you're like, man, those guys look legit. So they're a dangerous team, but I think the experience and the veteran and the coaching in particular, I think San Diego State will get it done.
We were talking about that Utah State game. Johnny mentioned that they win. That game goes into overtime, and I thought Utah State would cover the 12 points. Ball game took Fresno State plus the 12 points, and guess what happened? The finish for the final score after overtime was 12 points.
I didn't want to say anything, but I had Utah State minus 12, so I just got an amazing push on that.
You took Utah State, yeah. So we pushed.
It was in a parlay. I'm still alive, I guess.
Sometimes you'll take the push. I mean, yeah, it's one of those.
By the way, Mike Prater, Travis Hawks came on the show this morning. His buddy over there took like a live line, a BYU minus 14 or plus 14 or something. Then there was like a meaningless putback with 3 seconds left that gave him his 1 point cover. And Travis and his buddies are going absolutely crazy. And everybody in the sports books like, what game were they watching?
Yeah, you're looking around to see what happened. And
it's the best part of it. The best part of Vegas is just the random cheering for some random first half line or game line. I just love this place.
Yeah, there's not a lot of sportsbook guys cheering for BYU. Let's just leave it at that. Hey, real quick question before we get you out of here, and maybe this is maybe more of a conversation for tomorrow. We're going to have you on for the whole half hour tomorrow as we get back out to our pool party tomorrow. But what's Boise State have planned for Sunday? If they're so confident that they're in the tournament, they've got to put some kind of plan together.
I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not, but what I've heard is that there is unfortunately a gymnastics meet in the arena on Sunday.
I do know that for a fact. Yes.
They are planning something, but it's only going to be for the Lyle Smith Society and some of the boosters and people closely connected with the program. So I think they did talk about it. They were trying to find a way to open it up to the public. There's just not a venue, not a good enough size. So I believe it's going to be something in the Stickle Sky Center for some of the big donors and boosters and Matt Bouchers of the world. I think the media probably will be invited to that as well and can do some interviews afterwards. But unfortunately, I mean, I don't know why they couldn't use Bronco Gym, get a cut, I don't know. But for whatever reason with the gymnastics meet, that's going to put a wrinkle in their plans.
Yeah, I was curious about that because I did see that the gymnastics meet was in there on Sunday, and that's a logistical nightmare. So you can't have Selection Sunday in there. So that seems like.
Remember, 2 years ago, they won the tournament. Then they missed their flight, or the flight got delayed.
That's right.
And they couldn't make it back, and they had to cancel the selection party at the arena because the team couldn't even get back for it. And they've had some bad luck with that. They have.
I remember that. BJ, you're headed to Thomas and Mack.
Looking forward
coverage
to it.
PNN tonight?
Yeah, we'll be live pregame show up in the concourse about an hour before the game, and then live courtside for the postgame show afterwards. And I just can't wait. Mike Prater back in a Mountain West media scrum, asking Leon Rice a post-game question. I mean, just get your popcorn ready, right?
Just don't lose. Don't lose your first round game.
Please hold the slow growth till next week.
I got some questions available if he loses a first round game.
Maybe I'll start the post-game show and stay out of there for that one. But just keep the KTIK hat on and not the BNN one when you ask that question.
You got it, buddy.
Visit BroncoNationNews.com, hit the subscribe button, and give BJ Rains and Bronco Nation News. What is it, $50 for the whole year?
Yeah.
And we get this type of coverage. Heck, you get 500 new subscribers today. Maybe you'll take me and Prater to more events even, too. Maybe we'll go on the road all over the place with KTIK. BJ, be well. We'll catch your coverage tonight.
We'll see you tonight, man. Looking forward to it.
Prater in the ball game. KTIK, the ticket. We're live from Las Vegas, Circa Sportsbook. JP, let's get an update on the Mountain West tournament when we get back on KTIK, the ticket.
Idaho